Other interesting cultural news, you have liberals trying to normalize eating food with their hands, like things like rice, calling it reverse colonization. Now, this brought to us thanks to America AF, and, well, I guess you don't need a visual disclaimer, just know it looks cringe, and, ew. Now, he says, quote, liberals are now normalizing eating rice with their hands because white people force utensils on other races? Disgusting. Which, I don't know anyone who's ever been forced to use a utensil. And now on the screen, you have a guy and a gal. Looks like she might be Indian. This is I believe they call him a soy boy. And they are captioning, saying, quote, people call it integration, I call it reverse colonization. This might be the one time you like watching this on the Google YouTube, because they'll remove this music, which some might argue is more viscerally more annoying than my voice. Saying something. This guy, I don't think he bench pressed more than 5 pounds. Jesus. Hit the weight. Come on, guy. Hit the gym. Now, this is a very beta-looking guy, or soy boy, and he's eating rice with his hand, which is unsanitary, disgusting. I don't think anyone would do that. Especially, again, the spoon is right there. They have the option. The utensil is there. We invented them hundreds of years ago. And yet, he's eating the rice with his hand. What happens after? What happens? I mean, this is 2025, folks. We've evolved. We've invented things. Well, most countries have. And yet, I think that it especially annoys me because the spoon is right by his right hand, not 6 to 8 inches away. It's right there. Yeah, he's continuing to eat the rice with his hands. God, I can't think this just highlights how desperate guys are for a date, for he would put up with this nonsense. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna eat rice with our hand. When the spoon is right there! Like, sanitary eating is right, it's so close, literally within hand's reach. They go, no. Instead of that nice sanitary utensil, use my hand. Ridiculous. And I think that's one of the reasons it went viral. I got 2.6 million views and 24,000 likes. One of the first comments comes from Info Battle Maiden, and his captions the guy who says, "Is your boyfriend coming over later, dear?" Getting 3.9 thousand likes, which looks he looks like a Kamala voter. Yeah, I suppose there's something douchey about having a button-up shirt, like the top 3 buttons are undone. You can't pull that off unless you're like comically muscular. Even then, I won't recommend it from a fashion perspective. But yeah, he looks like one of those guys. Granted, I don't have much ground to stand on. I look like this, but nevertheless. America AF responded saying LOL, getting 434 likes. Fred says, quote, they went from wearing masks and gloves everywhere to eating with their hands, getting 5.5 thousand likes. America AF responded saying, quote, they also tried to force U.S. citizens to get a vaccine, then let millions of unvaccinated illegal immigrants into the country, getting 2.4 thousand likes. Base electrician has a good meme here. He has a picture of the guy eating with his hand. It says, quote, this guy's father just drove off a cliff, getting 435 likes. Which, yeah, I'd be pretty disappointed if I'm blessed to have children and one of them grow up to be that. I'd be like, God, man, that's so disappointing. I mean, first of all, hit the gym. Second of all, I mean, I haven't seen this. Is this simping? You're willing to eat with your hands to go on a date with this gal. You're going to eat with your hands at a restaurant in public. This isn't a hot dog or a sandwich. Use your damn utensil. I mean, it's not the first invention in history, but it's up there. I got, again, 435 likes. Lahik has a picture of Trump with the thumbs up saying Trump cures cancer. Then you have leftists Photoshop their signs that say, curing cancer is racist. We have the right to die from cancer. And this is Democrats are outraged, getting 681 likes. Buttermaker has a picture of a hat and says, make dysentery great again, getting 610 likes, which did this idiot never play Oregon Trail as a kid? There's lethal ways to die, and that is one of the most common ones. Joe Tracy says, quote, he who follows the herd only sees assholes, getting 549 likes. Jimbo says, quote, he's actually screenshotting a tweet from Bronze Age pervert, who says, quote, some people will never forgive the Anglo for teaching their recent ancestors to use a fork and knife, not eat off the floor, and use a flush toilet, in 374 likes. Let's see here. They have a, let's see, this is from Bram Vermeer. And they highlight the world in terms of, countries that eat with their hands, use chopsticks, or use a fork or a spoon. And they also correlate that map to, countries that have the highest mortality rate. Or, what's this? Let me explode that. It says diseases, death rate. And, yeah, it's a high correlation. It looks like, in terms of who eats with their hands, you have all the continent of Africa, India, those little useless countries between Australia and India. I'm only partially kidding. I'm sure they have lots of innovations. They make a lot of tech innovations. It's one of those things where no one can point that on a map and like guess it right. Then again, going to the United States, below the United States, you have Mexico, then some parts of northern South America, which sounds awkward, but I think is grammatically correct. And yep, that got 1.1 thousand likes. Lotus has a picture of Sydney Sweeney looking angry. Simply says pathetic, getting 461 likes. Fed Up American says, meanwhile, you have a white guy eating, what's this? What is that? Oh yeah, ribs. Getting 697 likes, which, yeah, some food you do with your hands, not rice. And like, yeah. Nate K simply has the famous meme of the African-American scientist holding up the green vial. Says, finally, pure retardum, getting 771 likes. Brother Ford says, well, it looks like a Muppet. It says, breaking news, common sense is now an endangered species. Stupidity is taking over the world, and unfortunately, there's no known cure. Getting 85 likes. Sourdough Bread says, yep, one should eat and drink like civilized. They have some drunk people at Oktoberfest drinking beer from a shoe. Just disgusting. That got 1,000 likes. Now, also, I guess they could have the excuse if they're greatly inebriated. And people don't normally do that. That's why they're being critiqued in all the comments. Miss B also says, yuck. You have a Zora Mandami eating something with his hands, looking weird, getting 174 likes. Eddie Gosselin says, why are they using cameras invented by white people? Getting 187 likes. Rhombus says, these are the same useful idiot sheep who had us wearing masks, rubber gloves, and bathing in hand sanitizer, getting 355 likes. A lot of people just have up-close pictures of the guy looking pathetic, getting between 80 and 100 likes. Yeah, I can't with wonder. Let's see here. Someone else just has a picture of a guy or a video guy cutting a steak with a fork and knife. Katie says, why not eat off the floor like they do in India then? We force tables on you too. Getting 418 likes. Roscoe Smith says, quote, reverse colonization. We moved to the West because it was safer, cleaner, and more advanced system for success. Yet you want to destroy it. Back to your third world shitty civilization. Go home, getting 728 likes. So, yeah. Long Island also says eating rice with their hands is gross. Even the Chinese would rather eat rice one grain at a time with an effing stick instead of using their hands. Getting 427 likes, which, yeah. I mean, that's frustrating. I've tried to use chopsticks. I usually fail and give up after a while. I'm not going to lie. I use a fork. I'm not ashamed to say it. Well, maybe a little ashamed, but yeah, they would rather use those. Again, you were told, like, oh, yeah, after you practice for a while, chopsticks are great. It's not superior than the spoon or fork. That is like top tier perfection of how you eat most things. But let me know your thoughts because, as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so click that button. Greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback. Let me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, anyone, everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.